Morning, guys. So it's 4 o'clock in the morning. I can't sleep. So I thought, why not start on the first episode of my podcast? So I'm gonna waffle your ears to death, and just talk a little bit about training and how I got into it and stuff like that. So I won't bore you with the kind of like the history of like how I got into the gym and stuff like that, because it's a long kind of like process. It was about 15 years ago, and I don't want to just talk a load of gibberish. So I did have like quite a few personal trainers to begin with. It was kind of like to help me understand training and stuff like that, and to help me in the gym, like eventually when I started off on my own. But I did have a few personal trainers to begin with. They really kind of like, gave me an understanding of how things work in the gym, and how to train and stuff like that, all that good stuff. But I just kind of like started training on my own in the gym in Ilford. I started kind of like lifting weights, loving it, loved every minute of it, was healthy. My nutrition was amazing. Like, I used to eat kind of religiously. I wouldn't even have ketchup or mayo on my dinners. Like, it was just, it was too extreme. Like, I was too obsessed, kind of like, even from early on, like when it came to nutrition, I'm talking about. I kind of was like, when I get something in my head, like when I want to do something, I want to chase something, I'm kind of like all in, or I'm not in at all. And that's how I was with gym. I was all in, and I put everything into it. But we'll talk about this. But it kind of like affected how my mental health as well. Yeah. So I started training in a gym, and I wanted to get sponsors so badly. So I started off with little companies at first, and kind of like just kind of posting on social, posting training videos, hashtagging the life out of them, just religiously kind of like just posting, not for kind of like validation or attention, just kind of like because I loved what I was doing. And an ex-partner of mine told me to create an Instagram page, so that's what I did. And that was a great idea for me at the time, because I was like, this is so much fun. I'm loving, like, videoing myself training and stuff like that. It was great. And then one day I kind of like, I was in the gym, it's really weird, and I was like, oh God, how great would it be? Like, they say manifestation is true. My brother kind of tells me this all the time, so I've got a very spiritual brother. And he says, like, manifestation is so important, like, and stuff like that. And I couldn't agree more with him, because when I think back to the day that I was sitting in the gym, and I was like, oh, I really like, one day I'm going to get sponsored, one day I want to step on stage, I'm going to compete in an IFBB, I'm going to do this, I'm going to do that. And I was having all these thoughts. And then one day I was in the gym, and the manager from BPI Sports contacted me, and I was like, oh my God, like, that's the company that I wanted to be sponsored by. And the manager just DM'd me and saying, if you want, like, I can help you out, like, we can, like, give you products and stuff like that, like, obviously, sponsor you. And I was like, oh my God, like, I can't believe this is happening. So I was so excited. I was like over the moon. I was like, I can't believe, like, when I sorry, put my words back in. When I got my first products, my protein bars, my shakers, my protein, my BCAA, all that, when it arrived at my mum's that day, I was like, oh my God, like, I was ecstatic. I was just over the moon, because when you're into that, like, that's everything, that's all your product you need. So, like, it was kind of like exciting and stuff. And yeah, just kind of like I started promoting BPI. I started kind of like really, really enjoying every minute of going to the gym, because I felt like, yeah, like, look at me, like, I've got my BPI sports shaker, I'm winning, I'm getting somewhere with my gym. So it just continued training and stuff like that. And that's when I really kind of like, when I started taking all the supplements and stuff like that, that's when I really started thinking, like, my God, how awesome would it be to get on stage? How awesome. And I just kept training. I just kept training. And then, yeah, like, it was just kind of like a big build-up to stepping on stage. And I met the BPI manager. He helped me with a lot of things. He helped me achieve kind of like getting onto stage and stuff like that. Now, if I'd have told you that people that do things don't have help, that's a lie. Like, I had a lot of help trying to get on stage. One, I could never afford it. I'd never be able to achieve getting on stage. It's so expensive, like the food, the outfits, the tan, like it's just kind of like it's a long thing, like it's a lot of money and stuff like that. And I just, yeah, I had a lot of help. But it also, you know, this is what I want to get into mostly. When you compete, it's amazing. Like, it's such a experience. Like, it's such an experience, and it's such a great thing to do. To achieve that look and achieve that body. Like, obviously, I had a lot of like posing lessons. I had a coach. I had like, you know, had a lot of help trying to achieve my body. I had a team of people around me trying to push me to get into shape and to make sure my eating was right. And, you know, I did take steroids. I took Anova when I was training. And I think kind of like, sorry, I don't know, I'm going a bit like off topic and then I'm going back on topic. But yeah, I just feel like in terms of like when it comes to like your mental health, this is where I was getting to. Like, it's such a big build up when you compete. Like, you know, you're on prep for like what, 8 weeks, 12 to 8 weeks. And you're like just so in that zone. And for me, I was so in that zone. Like, I wouldn't even like talk to anyone when I went to the gym. Like, I wouldn't even like look at anyone. I'd be like, if anyone was in my like my side view, I'd be like, oh, get out my face, like get out my way. Like, it's just kind of, I was so tunnel vision, and I would be like, it just wasn't healthy. And that's when, like, this is what I'm trying to get to. Like, obviously when I first started, it was so healthy and it was such a love. I had a love for the sport. But then as over time, sorry, it became obsession, an unhealthy kind of like mindset. Like, I'm just like, I'm better than everyone else. I want to be better. I want to be the best. I want to be this. I want to be that. And that's great. That's a great way of thinking. Like, I want to be the best. But I became like competitive. Like, I became like very obsessed and competitive, and like, you know, it wasn't very friendly. It wasn't very nice. And that's how it changed over time. And I was just like, how's it gone from me loving the sport to now me being unhealthy, an unhealthy weight, an unhealthy mindset? Like, it just kind of was just, it was really bad. But I just wanted to kind of like, you know, before I reach the end of this episode, I know it hasn't been that like informative and kind of like, haven't really like explained much, but it's rather kind of me telling you a bit about me and a bit about my journey. But it kind of like, it the build up to training is amazing, but once you've done that show and once the high is over, it's like when famous people, you know, go on out into a show and they come back and they're not with anyone and they've got nothing, it's silent. Like, that's how it feels, like that feeling of like emptiness and kind of like, now what? Like, after I'd done my first show, I wasn't too bad. I reverse dieted. I kind of like got back up and was like, yeah, I'm going to do another show. I'm going to do number 2. After number 2, nah, I went downhill, and it really was like bad. It was quite bad. I was kind of like eating, like, instead of reverse dieting, I was eating like tubs of Nutella in bed, depressed, didn't know what to do, you know. And it's really hard to get yourself back into a reverse diet and get yourself back up and motivated. And I just let things get on top of me. But yeah, that's something I will discuss with you in the next episode. I hope I haven't bored you too much with my chit chat about how I got into training. But yeah, we'll get into kind of like talking a bit more about the effects after training and after competing. But yeah, hope you all enjoyed it, and stay tuned for the next episode. Bye.